Hello, and greetings to all of you, my listeners. Today is Nigeria's Independence Day, Thursday, the 1st of October. Nigeria is Africa's largest country by size, over 200 million people. We got our independence from the British 60 years ago on the 1st of October of 1960. There have been turbulent years. There have been years of triumph as well as tragedy. There have been years of hope and years of despair. We fought a brutal civil war in which 3 million lives, according to some estimates, were lost in that terrible and tragic civil war. It is said that no country survives 2 civil wars. And since the return to democracy in the year 1999, there has been a series of bloodletting on a terrible scale. The figures range from anything from 30,000 to 60,000 of souls that have perished in killings due to the Boko Haram insurgency, which started like a bunch of local thugs that has now become a global jihadi organization. After the defeat of global jihad in Afghanistan and their thrashing in Syria and Iraq, they've turned their attention to West Africa and the Sahel. We have this feeling that their ambition is to make Nigeria their headquarters and to make the country into an Islamic state. Thousands have been slaughtered, maimed, raped, innocent children, babies, expectant mothers, the elderly, the infirm, the youths. They've killed and raped and maimed without discrimination and without pity or compassion. This tragedy has divided the country. It has set communities against communities. It has set religion against religion. It has set tribe against tribe. It has set the North against the South. It has eroded the last reservoir of social capital that glues communities together. And if nothing is done, Nigeria may be heading for a very massive tragedy. Some of us have warned about this. And unfortunately, we have been seen as troublemakers, not as patriots who want to seek a common ground that restores hope and peace in our country. Today, as we turn 60 as a country, there's sadly not much to celebrate. Nigeria overtook India in 2017 as the world's capital of poverty. That's a rather dubious prize, if you asked me. India today has just about 70 million of internationally defined poor. That is people without access to at least $1.50 per day. And if you compare, if you look at it in the context of India's 1.3 billion people, that gives you around just maybe 16, 17% of the population. Nigeria's poor number about 100 million. And if you asked me, that's about 50% of the population. So Nigeria's poverty has created a social cauldron of structural violence, misery, and desperation for so many people. We need to work harder to find solutions, because I believe that violence and conflict have their roots in poverty and social degradation. So we need to be able to find sustainable solutions that restore confidence in government and restore trust between various communities. As far as I'm concerned, the challenge we face is not a simplistic Islam versus Christianity issue. Part of my family are Muslims, and I can't afford the luxury of hating them. They are also my relations and fellow compatriots. But I make a different distinction between Muslims and Islamists who use religion as a political weapon. This is what has taken over our country today. And those of you who recall the history of Sudan, this kind of thing continued for almost 4 decades, resulting in the dissolution and dismemberment of Sudan. And the newest country in the world that emerged is South Sudan, who happens to be a friend of mine and a former colleague at the African Development Bank, rescinded the Islamic fundamental law that had turned Sudan into an Islamic state rather than a secular, open democracy. I think this is a welcome development. If Sudan has learned from 4 decades of tragedy that a theocratic constitution in a multi-ethnic and multi-religious society can only spell tragedy, we in Nigeria need to understand this very clearly. We need to understand that we have to build a secular, open society based on constitutional democracy and the rule of law, with an open market and a responsible government that caters for all its citizens. Government, since Aristotle, since Thomas Jefferson and Abraham Lincoln, is anchored on the mandate of securing the common peace and guaranteeing the welfare of all citizens. A government that does not achieve this elementary ontology has failed in its moral as well as constitutional duties. We can only hope and pray that God, in his infinite mercy, will give the rulers of Nigeria the wisdom to understand what they must do and the courage to do it. I thank all my listeners. I have received tremendous support from across the world, from the United States, from Europe, from African countries, and many others. Thank you for your prayers. You have given me hope, and you have given me courage to continue on the straight and narrow path under often difficult circumstances for my family and myself. I cannot thank you enough. And I believe that together we can be the change that we would like to see. May the good Lord bless you and keep you and cause his face to shine upon you and give you peace. Thank you.